he's not a funny guy. Like, you know, he won't see this. I'm sure he's got better things to do. He's
I bet he will see this. That's the kind of man who Googles his own name. He's gonna fucking see this. Hi. And welcome to yet another episode of Three Speech Podcast. We're back again, like a Renegade Master. This time, we're joined by the Bajan sensation.
Lewis Shaffer. No, I'm not from there.
Lewis Shaffer's back, third time in a row. No deference from the last week's episode.
I'm sorry for what I said. I'm sorry for what I said, Nico. I'm sorry.
What did you say?
Okay, then I'm not going to mention it.
Yeah, don't mention it. And controlled opposition.
Yeah, zip zap.
So since we last recorded,
It's been a long week.
been a long week. It's actually
Man, they had the local elections in the UK last night, and basically Reform are this sort of new party that are, for the first time in British politics in a long time, we've got a party that isn't just communists. So people are like, well, we actually quite like this idea of Britain living within its means and not borrowing unsustainable amounts of money to give people free stuff. And Reform are like sweeping the boards. They won the 14th safest Labour seat in the whole country.
I did that, yeah, but everyone hates
This
Labour.
is like California falling to Trump.
Well, there you go. Where was that?
That Runcorn.
Oh, Runcorn. Did you know about that? So what does that mean then? They've got an extra person in Parliament, or
They
what?
got a fifth MP. Would be a sixth MP, but what's his name?
Rupert Lowe.
Rupert Lowe.
What was that party you was in one time?
Reclaim.
Yeah, what happened to them?
I think they're still going.
Okay.
Is it Reform?
You left?
Kinda, yeah. I mean,
I thought it was your true passion and belief in the Reclaim Party, Liam, from the depths of your soul.
no. So I wanted to draw attention to the Scottish Hate Crime Act. And I think I've been proven right. All these comedians are like, oh, what are you worried about? Oh, you just want to say hateful things. Oh, what are you worried about? Nobody's going to get cancelled. It's like, yeah, I do want to say hateful things, because sometimes hateful things are funny. And also, we can see, there's lots, look at all the comedians getting cancelled. Look at Reginald D. Hunter. Look at Jerry Sadowitz. Andrew Lawrence. All these comedians getting cancelled.
Well, you know what's funny? Just this week, I was tagged in like an Instagram video of Rosie Holt.
Yeah. Isha
and what's her Suze Kempner, and they were basically making fun of like free speech, and I was like, are you lot morons? Have you not just seen what we've gone through and what is currently happening all over the world? And you're like, oh, these free speech activists, it's not just for like,
So what, Rosie and Ishan were making fun of you?
not of me, not us particularly. I think they were making fun of Andrew Lawrence,
Okay.
but they were going, oh, we live free speech, we can say trans rights. That's like right now, whichever side you're on, they're being arrested in America for pro-Palestine views, right?
Yeah.
So
That's right.
So fine,
Good
it's
thing
fine,
to do.
but you need it so that
Crush
you can,
that freedom of speech.
Yeah, but that's the point, though. It's like you morons. They did defend your speech and their speech. It's everyone's speech.
Yeah.
So I posted that. I went, well, yeah, but they're hypocrites. Well, some people are hypocrites, but it's just such a backwards argument.
Yeah, the thing is, people never realise that the rules that they make when they're in power are going to come back and bite them in the ass when the other side are in power. So in America, in Germany, they just made the AfD officially an extremist organisation, which means the state can now persecute them with like wiretaps and covert surveillance and like informants and stuff like that. And like, fine, man, do that to them. But the AfD are polling highest out of all the parties. So when the AfD get into power, they can use the same precedent, the same justification, the same laws that were used against them against the other parties. And how do you think that's going to work out for them?
It's so nuts. It's like they done Macron. What's her name in France?
Marine Le Pen.
Now they're doing the AfD. They got the guy in Romania. It's like, you can't even vote who you want to vote for. Like, we're not sure about that. We're gonna just lead it this way. Like, I don't even know what AfD like stand for, what their policies are. I can imagine they're more right leaning, but still, let them win or lose on their policies. As soon as you stamp down, people just go, "Oh, I'm gonna see what they're about and vote." So it's nuts.
Anyone that's called right wing now is like hugely left wing compared to like the standards of 99% of human history.
Well, there's been a schism in the right. Have you guys heard of the woke right?
Yeah, I still don't understand what it means.
Yeah, I don't know who the woke right is.
It's people who want the best of both worlds. You can't have it. We're on one side or the other. You're either for it or against it. And there's no, what do they call it? It is like, what side are you on? There's no woke right.
There is online.
I heard
they could say that there is, but there isn't.
So woke right is when people like, so you know, wokeists have this focus on like identity and race and all that sort of stuff. So I heard like the woke right also have that focus on like identity and race and sort of your immutable characteristics and whatever.
Because it's
So
feminism.
who's in the woke right? Name
Jordan Peterson.
who's the leader of the woke right?
I don't know.
Who's the figurehead?
I don't know.
I'm
Like,
so-
because for me, I'd have thought the woke right would be like, when right-wing people go into this purity spiral, and they're like, like all the right-wing people are like, oh, Reform are too left-wing, they're too, and it's like, yeah, but they're roughly going in the same direction. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't fucking like, don't let Labour get in just because you think Reform aren't quite perfect enough for you.
Well, that's what they said about the Conservatives, and they let Conservatives in, and it was shit for all that time. So you can't let the people come in. You'd rather have nobody come in and let the people see the enemy for who they really are.
But we don't know how shit it could really have been.
You know what? It wasn't shit enough to keep Labor out. If it was really more shit, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm saying
about right for this pod.
Yeah. I'm saying that the Conservatives were shit in this country, and I think if they were
who has ever been good that people were like, oh, this is a great
man. I'd say Maggie Thatcher was good. Oh, you don't like Maggie Thatcher?
I'm not.
I'm fucking laughing.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing.
Iranian embassy siege, motherfucker.
That's right. I'm laughing because you're saying Maggie Thatcher, but everyone else would say she's not. She wasn't good.
No, she's good because she basically did what Malay's doing in Argentina. She reformed the UK economy. So before that, we had a very sort of like
I would say Blair in his early bit was doing well.
That was probably the best.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
He didn't get embroiled in the Iraq war.
Yeah. He would have had a good
And I think for Blair,
a good legacy.
Like it felt good at the time, but a lot of stuff was borrowing from the future. So like PPI,
that's fine.
Like getting these unsustainable private investments that have to be paid back over time at like way more than you paid for them. Like the whole sort of mass immigration to sort of fill a labour gap, and just the sort of public sector borrowing, and also the expansion of the state, and also quangos. Like, so he set up millions and millions of quangos, and these are quasi-autonomous, non-governmental organizations. So it's basically the government has a sort of arm's length organization doing stuff that the government wants to do, and propagating the sort of opinions and ideologies that the government wants to propagate, but the government's got this sort of plausible deniability of saying, oh, they're nothing to do with us, they're a separate organization.
But every government does that.
What's that?
Every government does that, no?
Yeah, but I mean this hugely expanded under Blair, and now it's been copied by all the governments around the world. So they get
Isn't that what Doge is cutting down on?
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I wasn't here for the beginning time of Tony Blair, but he gave poor people hope. He gave them violins to make them think that they were upper class, and then they got jobs, and they stopped, and they were working, and they didn't have kids, and now they're single, lonely women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s.
That's a good point.
So Tony Blair was the worst prime minister this country has ever had.
Because he gave people hope.
He gave people hope. You shouldn't have hope. You don't give poor people a violin and tell them that you're as good as the better people. It just makes people unhappy. He's a black man. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's you're better off saying to them, you're black, and you just got to get used to your shit, and then you get used to your shit, and you have kids, and you're happy.
This would be a great political speech, Lewis.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm in favor of. I'm in favor of kids. I have 2 kids, and it's a miracle that I do because I'm gay. Yeah. But people need kids, and Tony Blair is telling all these women that's the problem. The problem is feminism. It's women. Women are so bad.
Yeah. The feminization. I think Patrice called it the pussification of society.
All right, well, there you go. We're on the same page.
That's a real problem.
Yeah. Well, communism is feminization, is that. And that's why if you care about this world, you can't let women vote.
Yeah. Apparently there's a tiny proportion of people who actually have it, and it's like if you've got high testosterone and all the rest of it, then you'll go against the consensus. Most people follow the consensus because they know that's the least dangerous thing to do. But then you've got a tiny proportion of people who will sort of go against that and say, wait a minute, this isn't right.
Well, I've got something interesting to tell you. As we know, as we've discussed on this pod many times, Reddit is kind of the leading thought leader of changes the direction of stuff.
Yeah.
So
they're all pussified. They all have low testosterone.
Well, listen to this.
Fatter than Ollie.
University of Zurich, they did it. An anonymous didn't tell an experiment for they all subscribed to this Reddit called "Let Me Change My View." They got a load of AI bots and they swarmed this Reddit, and they saw how easy they could manipulate the public's opinion on a certain topic. So they got all these bots there, and say they were saying like, "Oh, Trump is bad." They say, "Oh, Trump is good," and they all changed their opinion.
No way.
And now it's just big story last week. So universities, they've been manipulating the thing, but it just shows how deep and easy people are to be manipulated.
The word is fickle.
It is fickle, but it also is
it's manipulatable.
Fickle,
That study was done years ago where they had like a professor. He had like six of his assistants in the class, and they had one new guy, and they were shown something, how long is this stick? Is it 6 inches or 2 inches? And they were basically convinced, the real guy was convinced to say it was 2 inches, because everybody else said it was 2 inches, even though he knew it was like...
Well, everyone's a sheep except me.
Exactly.
But like...
Well,
it's like that study where you get the people come into the waiting room, and the bell goes off, and you stand up. Yeah. You don't tell the others about it, but then eventually everyone stands up when the bell comes on.
Yeah, and they don't even know why they're doing it.
Yeah, they don't know why they're doing it, but
Or the study where the monkey goes to climb up the ladder to pick the bananas, and when he goes to the bananas, he gets sprayed with cold water, so he comes down, and then the next guy goes up and he gets sprayed. The third guy doesn't go up.
And the other monkeys stop the new guy coming in, stop him from going up.
And then like months later, even though the original monkeys are gone, they've never been sprayed. They say, don't go up there, you might get sprayed. Yeah. And people stop reaching for the banana.
But there's
conditioning.
There's a thing called Chesterton's fence. So it's this idea that if you come across a fence in the countryside, don't remove it, because even if it looks like it's doing nothing, it could have a purpose that you don't see. And so I think we're removing a lot of Chesterton's fences because we're like that. Well, there's no why aren't we going up the ladder to get the bananas? Yes. And then so like feminism, for example. Not that I'm a staunch feminist, but like so feminism is sort of leading to a lower birth rate, whereas if you have a sort of more patriarchal medieval society,
we're not going to say where that comes from.
Yeah, we're not going to say which one, but the ones we mean.
Yes,
they have more kids. They have more kids because the women are in the
because
house
we're letting women involved in our world,
and they're having sex with their cousins.
Not that they were just letting them decide on shit, and they can't decide on stuff. Women are bad, they're evil, they're horrible.
I just want to say for some balance, I think women are all right.
I think they're all right. They have a place. They're totally needed in the society. You don't want to have a world without women. You get people like Nico over there who doesn't believe in dinosaurs. That's what you have. But you need women, but you don't need them voting. You don't need them running our schools. You don't need them deciding whether they're going to have kids or not. You don't need them.
They would disagree.
They would disagree.
You need them. You need women in society.
Yeah. In society.
Otherwise,
at work,
we just be gay.
But they got to.
No, we wouldn't.
They got to. I do think the problem is women aren't having kids, because without kids, women have all this empathy and compassion that they'd normally direct onto their own kids, and when women have kids, they usually become more sort of
exactly
more sensible.
But is this an actual theory, or is this your theory?
This is. Well, I think other people have had this theory as well, but I'm certainly happy to pick it up and run with it. But because they don't have the kids to focus that empathy and compassion onto, the women are like, oh, we must take in all the hordes of people from wherever it is.
Hordes.
Yeah,
we must
hordes.
Look after the men who pretend they're women, and we must show all this compassion.
It's displacement. What is it called? What is the word called?
I'm not sure.
So
but half of that is, as we've already said, that's half. Some of that's partly true, but some of it is they're being conditioned to believe that and to think that way.
Yeah.
No, it's chronic with women. I never heard that said before, but it makes perfect sense. Is women have a lot of love. When you've been loved by a woman, you know what love is. If you haven't been loved by a woman, you know that there is no love in the world.
And if you haven't been loved by a woman, just take in mind that even Lewis has been loved by a woman, so there's hope for us all. So
and then they stop loving you. That's why you hate them. Because because no guy will love anybody as much as a woman can love. When the woman loves, they look at you and they go, "Oh my God, this is the most amazing thing in the world." Even they can change their mind, but at that moment, they give you the unbelief. It's crazy.
And you've experienced that?
I thought I did, and then they change.
Yeah.
But it's like what you say about women loving their kids, and if they don't love their kids, they love people in horrible countries who are coming to this country, destroying it. I think that's a brilliant point. I'm with.
And also any sort of weird, and it's weird that the compassion can get turned on and off. Like the whole like the trans thing. So you got like just basically lumpy blokes being like, yeah, I'm a woman, and instead of like some women instead of being like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're a lumpy bloke. Like fair enough for the trans who put the effort in and look like women. Yeah, you're like I know this will piss off a lot of turfs, but yeah, like piss where the fuck you want, because like it'd be weird if Blair White was in the blokes' toilets.
Who's Blair White?
The hot trans that's right wing.
I've never seen them.
She is hot.
Yeah.
Or are they?
It's she.
It's you bigot.
But you are right. You know why? You know why they don't do that? Because a lot of women, even the hottest women, they think that they're fat, bloated pieces of garbage. And
then the fat, bloated pieces of garbage ones think that they're hot.
Yes.
There needs to be more objectivity in like women's.
There's a guy called Henry Coleman who does a great bit. He says, Lizzo has given these fat women too much pride.
And then she takes the pill. She takes the shot.
Ozempic. And now they're not fat anymore.
And now she doing Ozempic.
Yeah, they're all skinny now.
They're all skinny now.
Fat positive. Oh, we're just naming names.
Is Sophie Hagen doing the thing? No, she's not.
She's doing Ozempic. Well, she's doing something because she's lost weight. I mean,
she looks great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen her. I'm going to presume she looks great.
I thought she looked great before.
She looked great before.
She's
ruining her own gimmick.
Yeah, her whole thing was like, I'm fat and like fat is good and whatever. You know what I mean? Then I guess like, man,
that all catches up with you until you go to the doctor.
Exactly. All these fat activist body influencers, man, the worst thing that could happen to them is social media telling them they're good and they're brave and stuff.
But they all die, which is good. So that's like that basically is like going to the doctor when you're dead. It's like you don't need to go to the doctor. You're dead. They get fat and then they die young. All these fat influencers, they die. They're like not even 30 years old.
Yeah.
They just sit there stuffing their faces.
Yeah.
They're like a WWE wrestler from the 80s.
Yeah.
Can I just say this? I was kidding about women.
Lewis might want to have sex. But also then what else has been happening? Been power strikes in Portugal and Spain.
Yeah, caused by net zero allegedly. Don't play with that because that's keeping all the power going into the units.
No fidgeting.
Do you want something else to play with?
No.
Look at these headphones. Why don't you pick the wax off them?
No.
Darius's earwax. Off. New fidget toy.
They're mine.
There was the Douglas Murray, Dave Rubin debate and all the fallout.
Ages ago.
We're not going to discuss Portugal and Spain.
No, I'm just saying some things that have happened since we've last been on.
There was Kneecap.
Oh, Kneecap.
Irish boy band got in a bit of trouble for saying...
I've not heard any of their music, but
I have.
Is it good?
It's not really my kind of thing. It's fucking dog shit.
What else has been going on?
I think if you're a posh gimp on Instagram, a watermelon emoji, you'll think it's terrifically edgy.
Yeah. Well, I've not heard Kneecap, but I have seen that. And then what else has been good? I wrote down some... I actually did some preparation.
Well, why don't we discuss one of the things that we just mentioned?
We'll do the thingy.
Well, yeah, we could discuss
who you think causes the power cuts?
It's the Jews. The Jews.
I believe as well.
I know you believe it.
I believe that.
He does, but there's no smile in his face because he does believe it. He thinks of the Jews. The Jews make the electricity system and then they cut it off. That's it. If you figure out how to make money either way.
But the conspiracy theory is they just stopped sending them.
Spain was anti-genocide.
They stopped sending arms to Israel, and a week later their electricity got cut off.
Yeah.
Is that really what happened?
Yeah.
All right, well, go Jews. That's what's great about being a Jew is you hear amazing things that Jews can do, and I'm just not taking advantage of it.
Yeah. Well,
Has anyone ever offered you any
special... But then part of Israel caught fire. What bit was that? Was it something in Jerusalem? There was a wildfire or something like that.
Was it started by somebody?
No, God. God punishing Israel.
Well, depending on where you get your information from, it was either started by a Palestinian or started by a settler burning Palestinian land.
Or it could just be started by some schmuck who's was smoking a cigarette, and it's a super dry country, and this is the driest time of the year.
What actually happened is their trees are like European wood trees or something. Apparently, they're very flammable.
Yeah, they're eucalyptus trees. Yeah. They're like all oil. It's like what happens in Australia. They just burn down. Yeah, it's very...
because they planted loads of those eucalyptus trees in California as well, and they're designed to burn. They're designed to, like, every so many years they burn down and it regenerates and stuff. Yeah. So it's actually part of the plant is it's burning. But you put that in California and amongst people's houses and it burns down and
and you know what they've done now? They've said people had beachfront property in California.
Yeah.
The house got burnt down, and now the state of California said, we're not giving any planning rights to build on there, so you can't, and we're taking your land off you.
You can't even rebuild your own house.
They're not going to let you rebuild their own house. They're saying, because you're not allowed to rebuild, we are taking this land at less than cost price.
That's fucking
for like this is exactly like what's happening in
everywhere in the world is happening.
In like somewhere like Zimbabwe or something. So we're taking
we're
doing
here,
this land.
or here
land
they're
grab.
doing it here. They're gonna when they give out all those houses to the migrants. You know, they're taking it away from.
You're a fucking migrant, Lewis.
Yes, I am a migrant, but I'm a good migrant. I'm not. My skin is relatively white. That's how you know I'm a good migrant.
The Family Guy chart. The Family Guy chart.
Is that a Family Guy chart?
Yeah, there's a joke. Where he
Actually, technically, you should be there. You should switch chairs, and then we'll be right on the Family Guy chart.
I'm darker than Lewis.
Yeah, but ethnically.
No, you're not. No, you're
not.
not.
You're redder than I am.
No, you're not. Lewis is darker than you.
I'm darker.
You're pink.
I think I am. I don't know.
Yeah, you're a ham.
That's good, actually. That follows the. If you did that, it would follow the chart of our political ideation
It's
and
Lewis.
Family Guy chart.
Yeah.
Lewis, then Darius. No, Leo would have to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
darker.
So Leo, Lewis, me, then you. Then it's the Family Guy chart and also our politics.
Because you're half white, aren't you? Not half white.
I am half white.
You're half white.
The
so
good
there
half.
you go. You hate yourself.
I don't hate myself.
You do hate yourself.
Well, maybe I am. What were we talking? Yeah, so they got that. Why is it blamed on net zero though for Spain?
So like basically, because you used to have all these big turbines making the AC current, so it's an alternating current, so it's got a frequency, and when the turbine spins, that's what makes the frequency. The turbines spin at a very regular rate. Nuclear powered turbine, hydro, coal, gas, whatever it is, big spinning turbine. So the like solar power and wind power, even though wind's generated from a spinning thing, by the time it gets to the grid, it's not got a frequency. They don't have a frequency, but the electricity sort of just matches with the existing frequency. But now so much electricity is being generated from wind and solar that it doesn't have a frequency to match with. So the system, the whole like frequency collapses, and then you just have blackouts.
So
I heard it was. I heard it was the Jew though.
The Jews. It's the Jews. Of course, it's the Jews. Do you know how horrible it is? You know what?
It's much simpler.
Yeah. I believe that. Yeah.
But imagine you're a Jew and you're thinking, how come I'm sitting in my stupid little flat? How come I'm not controlling the world?
Yeah, why do you not why do you not control the world?
Yeah, why are you not
Exactly.
more successful?
Well,
mate?
exactly. That's what I hear. How rich Jews are, and I'm thinking, I'm in bankruptcy
Yeah,
court
but they know they
twice.
see you're a liability. You're uncontrollable.
Yeah.
You won't be told what to do. They say, listen, whatever you do, Lewis, don't mention.
I'm
this, and then
battling the success quotient. I mean,
Also, people like you are a good story for that Jews don't rule anything because they can just point to you and go, look at him.
Yeah,
How
look
can
at
he rule
Louis
shit?
Shaffer.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why I'm on this earth, to help the Jews?
Yeah.
Help the Jews.
That's your destiny.
Help the Jews. It's so weird because when I was growing up and you used to hear about the Jews, like people like Nico over there, everyone's talking about the Jews everywhere. It's not something new. And that's why when Josh Howie talks about like they're coming to get the Jews, it's like, where the fuck have you been? They've been killing the Jews, the Holocaust, the Russians, the pogroms. It's been going on.
What Holocaust?
Yes, exactly. You're not allowed to make that joke.
That's my get cancelled again.
No, you can make that joke because the Holocaust never happened.
I'm just looking forward to Nico's apology. Paper, standing on the steps like.
I'm sorry.
I meant which
I'm sorry.
one? Which one? There's several.
No, but so I'm growing up in this town, and I'm thinking, oh my God, Jews are like amazing. There must be billions of Jews. There are like 12 Jews in the entire world. There's like no Jews.
Yeah. It's mad that Kanye West has got more followers on Twitter than there are Jews in the world.
Yeah, probably.
Talk about Kanye West. Did you see his latest?
Is that true? That's not true.
How many million? How many?
There's like 14 million Jews in the world. Is it 14 million?
Like 14, 15. I don't know how much it
Something
is.
like that.
He doesn't even know.
That's not true though.
Yeah.
No, there's got to be
it is
200
true.
billion. I know. There's got to be more than the Muslims.
What about Kanye West sucking off his own cousin?
No, we should finish. Just let him finish this point. Let him come to the understanding. There are only 15 million Jews in the world.
And that's
there
what I
are
call a minority.
And there are 2 billion Muslims.
But then that just proves what everyone is saying.
Is that what they say?
So that
Every single
just proves it.
Every single one apart from Lewis is like running a weather control station.
So say, let's turn off. Get a phone call in the middle of the night. We're turning off Spain.
Man, can I just congratulate you and your community on the marvelous job you've done with the weather this week?
Actually, good job, Lewis. More like that, please.
I know. We're I don't know what Jews can and cannot do. That's the thing. There's too much stuff. It's like the Wizard of Oz. You could go to the whatever it is. You could meet the thing. You could always do it, but you didn't know you could always do it, and that's the problem.
Well, I think I did a video about this because Renaud Camus, this like French philosopher, was stopped from entering Britain because they said he was he came out with the Great Replacement thing. They said it's anti-Semitic, and he never said like the Jews are behind mass immigration. Other people said, but I don't think it makes any sense for the Jews to be behind it, because why would the Jews be bringing in loads of like Muslims, considering the amount of oppression and genocide Jews have had in Muslim countries?
Right, that's ridiculous.
What, Camus a current day guy, or he's old?
He's old. He's like 70. Is he 72 or 78?
Is he the one who wrote This Stranger?
He wrote. So there's Albert.
The other guy.
Albert Camus.
Okay.
So Renaud Camus came up with basically Great Replacement. So it's labeled as a sort of far-right conspiracy theory, anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. But he himself never said anything about the Jews. And it doesn't make sense.
So then they've stopped him coming in.
So they stopped him coming in. So this is another example of what you're talking about earlier.
But this is the thing, I have to say...
I'd like to apologize to any Jews who are offended by my comments.
Yeah, but that's the point, though. Kind of...
Thank you for the lovely weather here in Britain. Thank you very much. And in Barbados as well, the lovely weather in Barbados.
Free speech is for everyone. That's all I'm going to say. That should be that.
I don't think free speech should be for everybody. But...
This camera's died.
As it
Fucking. But next
we're gonna release this as an audio only.
Next week we're gonna get the audio right. We're gonna get the cameras right. We're gonna get the lighting right. You will see next week the production values are gonna increase.
Yeah.
So, but
on today's episode,
you're gonna put Ollie on.
We're bringing Ollie. All is forgiven. You can come back for one pod episode to sort out the cameras and the mics.
Me and Leo won't be here though. But
well, I'll be here. I'll tell you how to get thin. Thin is the most important thing.
Yeah,
it's the most, because if you're thin, you can even eat horrible food. But
I think you should just end the beef with Ollie. I've told him to end the beef with you.
I don't like you.
Beef is forever, mate. That's forever. What 50 Cent says.
What's the
beef
point?
is forever.
This is a pointless beef. This should
it's
be
not
good
pointless, mate.
Why have you got a beef with Ollie?
You need to have beef.
Yeah, but what have you got? Like, understand?
You got beef with Leo. If you got beef with Leo, you got beef with me.
He threw me under the bus on my own fucking podcast.
He didn't. He threw you under the bus on the Patreon episode of your own podcast.
Patreon's getting in touch with me being like, oh, by the way, so you know.
Just so you know, whichever patron did that, you little grass, that is against the ethos.
All of them fucking did it.
Did they?
All four.
All four. I'll find out which one of you it was. He did, but what did he say? I can't even remember what he slagged you off on.
You know what he said?
Yeah, let's go.
He's such a fucking... When we talk about the pacification of society, like, so he's all like that. Oh, well... Leo Kears, it's getting to the point I can't even defend Leo Kears when people like. I'm not fucking asking you to defend me. The last fucking thing I want is some fat noncy looking cunt fucking defending me. You know what I mean? I'd rather know you fucking hate me. I'd rather you said bad things about me, because then people will know that what I'm saying might be right.
Right, I'm going to say in Ollie's defense, because he might be listening to this.
Why are we talking about Ollie?
Well, I don't know, because I think he should come back on the pod. You should argue with him.
The fucking podcast.
It's fun for you.
His own fucking podcast.
Yeah, but why can't you just argue with him on the podcast?
I don't want to fucking argue. You can only beef up the way.
Yeah.
Like, so I beefed with Victoria Corin Mitchell when she did that thing about me. I beefed with her.
She's good at poker.
I'll beef with, like, Kneecap. You can only beef.
Are you beefing with Kneecap?
You can't beef with some fucking fat open mic.
Well, can't you just be friends? It just make my life easier.
Just learn to turn on a camera, Darius.
Why don't you
oh shit, that seat is gone.
Can you not just all be friends?
Just learn basic technology.
I don't know how to do it.
Just charge the camera before we come, and then turn on the camera when we get here. Simple.
Well, I thought that was how you did it, but clearly it's not.
2 hours. 2 hours to put cameras.
Two of them have died. One of them's just about to die.
And 2 weeks ago, we had the same problem, if you remember correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
So it wasn't like something new that just, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use it. I don't know what I'm doing.
This is your performance appraisal.
We need some Jews in this operation.
Yes, we
to
do.
fix
We
things
do.
up, man.
We used to have Jonathan Cogan. Where's he? He was good.
Jonathan Cogan is doing great now. He's working on films. He's working on Dapper Laughs feature films. He's working on the sitcom.
But he has an advantage.
Of what?
He's young and
smart. He's young and smart.
Oh, right.
young
I
and
thought you were going
Jewy.
to say something else.
He's handsome.
And he's hardworking. He has an advantage. He works.
That's cheating.
He's well connected.
That's cheating.
Yeah, it is cheating. You see people that I'm 0% industriousness according to my Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, so what do you do all day? What's an average day in the life of Louis Shaffer?
Average day is always the same. I wake up about 12:30 and I have breakfast at about.
Are you satisfied with how your career went?
Of course, this is who I am. The only difference between me now and me years ago is I actually thought I could accomplish something. I can't accomplish something. I'm just not one of those people.
But did you think that you could be bigger in comedy than you are?
Of course I could. I've been looking through my stuff from when I was there's Louis Shaffer, there's me with Attell, me with Billy Burr, I got a picture of me and Tony Woods and Dave Chappelle. It's just you know, I'm not saying they liked me, but I was there and I could have been.
Especially
And what happened?
Because people find out he's not really super reliable. He's a bit weird. He hates women. I don't know what they hate about me, but they don't like me.
Well, yeah.
But did you ever used to do a consistent set though, Louis? Because every time I've seen you, you're different every time.
Yeah,
I think
I've
it's
never
hard
seen
to-
somebody have such a variety of ways of bombing.
Yes. Because I don't want. It's like that.
Because Leo would bomb the same way every night. I wouldn't change it.
But that's what they want: consistent mediocrity.
Yeah. Then the guy can come in and say, you know, maybe you don't tell that joke, and you could feel, and he could feel like he's involved in your career.
Right.
Because my Leo nodded his head. But with me, you know what's that song? Went to a garden party. To reminisce with my old friends. Remember that song about the garden?
No one remembers this song, Louis.
And the line was if memories were all I sang, all these old songs from the 1950s, he's on stage in 1970, and he doesn't want to sing the old songs of the 1950s. He's got his new songs, but it's like an old.
People want the classics.
They want the classics. He said, if memories were all I sang, I'd rather drive a truck. And that's what my feeling is.
And did he drive a truck?
No, he didn't drive.
Do you drive a truck?
No.
Who's got a truck?
The truck. What?
Question: would you do things differently?
If I went back in time?
Yeah, if you went back in time.
I don't think I could, but I would. I mean, I'd be nicer to people. All those people. Like Dave Chappelle tried to get me fired. Jim Gaffigan tried to get me fired.
Why?
What were you doing?
I was just telling him what to do. I thought I was better than these people. Who the fuck are you, Dave Chappelle? That's my attitude. You know, we got a show to run. There's a show.
The actual advice you gave him?
I gave him. We got to get off. We got another show coming in. We got our lines around the block for the next show. Can you get off stage?
Oh, is this a show you're running?
I'm running the show.
That's fair enough.
That
you
is
should be
fair
allowed
enough.
to tell Dave, like whoever's on stage, listen, we've got more people. They're paying customers.
Not
We've got
when
to get
the
them in.
owner of the club doesn't give a shit about the people that are waiting outside.
right,
He
yeah,
just cares about Dave Chappelle, who's his client and famous.
Okay.
And going to make him money.
Well, you should have known that.
I should have known that because I'm stupid. I know you're thinking the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fucking idiot. Okay. I'm not even joking about it. I look back, just the stupid things. But.
And why did you have beef with Gaffigan? Because he seems like a nice guy.
Same thing. I remember my manager telling me that's Jim Gaffigan. Jim Gaffigan made $300,000 on advertising commercials last year. How much money have you made? You're still living in a studio apartment in Brooklyn, Lewis. That's Jim Gaffigan.
But imagine that criticism now. I could have
So wait, hang on.
dreamed of living in a studio apartment in London.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was living in a shared warehouse.
So when he told you that, you went and told Jim Gaffigan something to
No,
piss him off?
that was like, Jim Gaffigan. Jim Gaffigan is an amazing human being. He's one of these. It's like when I see people like this, you know, I just respect hard work. Anybody who works hard, even if they're a fucking idiot. And Jim Gaffigan's not an idiot, but he worked so hard. Mm-hmm. He was just so committed to being funny, and he was funny, and he became funnier. And that's what I'm saying.
If you look at the successful comedians, they do work hard. Like if you look at Bill Burr, man, Bill Burr works super. He's got his podcast. He's got so much stuff. Like,
yeah, he's.
What's it telling you? Have you got an email?
Maybe this is why.
An email from Mind Valley.
Mind Valley?
Yeah.
What's that?
Mind
It
Camp?
teaches you courses and stuff.
All right, what are you doing? A course?
Self-improvement. No, I looked
drive
at
a
a
truck.
course, but
Yeah.
they said,
what?
They
huh?
said you-
What course?
Which one did I look at? Probably a finance one.
Right, because you
Yeah.
did finance.
Because I'm big into stocks and
Into
trading.
money because you're a Jew.
Yeah.
How's your stocks going? Is your stocks going
They're
well?
going well now, yeah. All are in the green.
Oh, that's good.
Any
So
stock
making
advice for our
peasant.
listeners?
Oh, Nvidia is doing well. I
Nvidia's
think
back
that's my highest earning one.
Right.
Nvidia.
NVIDIA.
When did you buy it?
About a month and a bit
Oh,
ago.
right.
Yeah.
Is your stock still tanked, Leo?
No, they've come back up, but I'm kind of annoyed because I sold loads of IEG, the like basically British Airways, and so it's come back up from when I sold it. But like, I don't know, airlines are kind of. I still think like this is a dead cat bounce, and there's going to be a bit of a crash. Like the Western economies are pretty much unsustainable. They're all built on debt, and the American economy actually contracted in the last like.
Is that even on?
That's on.
There's no red light.
Is it recording?
The red light, it is recording.
Okay.
How do you know?
Because I press record. If it's not recording, I'll kill myself. Is that what you
Don't
want?
do that. It'll make a good show. See, I
it
respect
recording?
that. It's hardworking.
It's recording.
Has it
Okay.
got a?
Yeah, it says recording there. Right.
All right. It's in a
Okay,
different
cool.
place.
Because normally there's a red thing to let you know it's recording.
It's recording. 37 minutes we've done.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
It says recording there.
Yeah. No, it is.
I don't know why this one died.
Rick. Yeah. It's just that it's different layout from my one, which is weird because I got the same one.
Yeah.
Are we taking a break? That one I know.
That was the good part of the pod.
Did I answer the question in a coherent way? Hard work. They're hardworking.
That one's recording now as well. So what?
And I'm a resentful and bitter person, basically. I've got a lot of bitterness in me. I shouldn't have bitterness, but it's like me telling Josh he's online, on this show. I just tell people shit, and they don't.
Oh, when you're on the show.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it's funny. It's fun. It's like, who is successful? People who make 1 million phone calls. They're constantly like, where's my next gig coming? I got to do another gig. I got a day coming up next year.
Yeah.
I got to fill that date. That's successful.
Yeah, like there's a guy who was on my show when I had a TV show.
Jeez.
And
I got something, yeah.
I get a message, and I haven't replied to him in months, and he messages every and you just know that guy's like gonna get somewhere just through sheer volume of stuff.
Persistence.
Yeah.
What, he wants to get on your show?
Yeah, or like just always getting in touch for
What show?
So I had a show on GB News.
Saturday Showdown.
Oh, okay.
Saturday
yeah.
Showdown. Darius came on it.
I came on it.
I can't.
You know who's successful? And I knew was going to be successful? Nigel. He opened a restaurant.
Nigel.
I went
yeah.
there in the airport. It was incredible.
He opened a Uncle Roger restaurant.
Are you just finding this out now? I was
No,
literally-
this is a new one.
Yeah, but I was just literally there when I came back from
How
Perth.
long ago?
Like 2 months ago.
No,
And
this
this
is a
is
new one.
Another one.
Yes.
It's also, then this guy's, he's like a billionaire.
Yeah, he
But
has
it's all
to be.
from doing videos about rice.
Yeah.
That's like quite a niche
Bro,
subject.
no, but you could see his focus and
Acumen.
but me,
Is he
Malaysian.
British?
yeah.
But he's really funny. The thing is, he's really funny, but then he started doing this Uncle Roger character, and it's been hugely successful. But
It's not as funny as his stand-up.
yeah, his stand-up's much better. And
Stand up is funnier than that because
Yeah.
that's proper funny.
Yeah.
And so, but that's not his real voice. He speaks like
No. It's a character.
Yeah.
It's a character. But we went on a tour, Scandinavian tour. Me, Alistair, and him.
Right.
And you could see
Alistair
how Williams. You could see how focused. Like me and Alistair would get on the train, we'd be joking and looking at our phone. He would have a laptop, and on the laptop he had his jokes color coded. And he'd be adding tags and and then he would have a social media page. He would have the hashtags broken down into like range.
Yeah.
This hashtag is a 10,000 to 50,000 one. This hashtag is a 50,000 to 100,000. This one, so that you want, when you're now starting out, you put in the hashtags on the smaller ones so that you can peak in those ones, and then you get shown more likely. When you post something, you used to do hashtags. Now they're not important. But back in the day, you put hashtag. You see, you did the joke about apples. You put hashtag apples. Hashtag.
People who are interested in apples will go to this.
Yes, and people who type in that would your. I'm just using it as an example.
And people don't use hashtags anymore.
No, they said the Instagram man who runs Instagram says they don't. Yeah,
and what
they're
about
not important
apples?
Anymore.
Do people like apples?
People still like apples, yeah.
Like Twitter.
Because the amount of nutrients in apples has actually gone down, and the amount of sugar has gone up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's your favorite app? Wait, just before we continue.
You can see just how focused he was. Like who puts jokes in a spreadsheet?
Man, I did that, but I only got 3 jokes. So I finished.
Then Kay nicked one of them.
Wait. What's your favorite apple?
A golden apple.
Golden delicious.
Favorite apple.
Golden.
No, it's not. It's
Darius's favorite. Listen, Darius's favorite apple is Cox.
That's not true.
He thinks it's
either no. It's
and he's like, oh great, I can have a cock.
No, that's not true. It's no, because I'll just eat a banana.
And he shoved the apple up his ass.
No, I didn't. That's another lie.
But why don't any of us have a restaurant?
Because it would obviously close straight away.
Man, we could barely turn up to do a podcast.
But
he's got to be like a billionaire for real, though.
Can you imagine like Darius is like setting up the saucepan? It takes 2 hours to set up the saucepans. It's like, oh, if only Ollie was here to help me fucking cook this.
Because these are so complicated. I would know how to do a saucepan. Pink.
Big at Nigel, man.
Yeah,
I like Nigel.
Very funny guy.
And when I was in, I stopped in Malaysia to get my flight from there, and I saw his restaurant. He's, I'll go in and I'll sort you out. But I didn't have time because I was just transferring.
Well, you saw him. He was there.
I went saw his restaurant. It's hot, imagine the airport.
How did you speak to him?
On Instagram. So basically, I saw his restaurant and I took it, but it wasn't just his restaurant. The airport there is like a big mall as well. So it's like an airport and a mall. And he basically done a whole takeover of there. So all like the escalator was branded Uncle Roger,
Jesus.
like proper, like, you know when you see like a Nike advert on the tube, it's like all down the huge. So I was like filming, like, holy shit, Uncle Roger's.
Is that Kuala Lumpur or Singapore?
I think it was KL.
Right, yeah.
And it was so it took over, but like a big like this is impressive. So I just filmed it, dropped it, and tagged him in it. And he was, I'll go in, I'll hook you up. I couldn't go because I was late, but. It looked like when I'm telling you, it's the real deal.
Yeah, he's not playing around, mate.
Well, it's like Jimmy Carr. It's like successful people are successful whatever they do, and people who are failures are not successful at whatever they do.
But then you get some people who like are incredibly influential, but don't really make any money. Look at so many, like, look at the Sex Pistols. I mean, actually, they sold loads of records, but Jesus and Mary Chain didn't sell that many records.
Van Gogh.
Look at Van Gogh.
Yeah.
When he was alive. Died broke.
Look at Van Gogh's mom. You never even heard of her.
Mozart.
Mm-hmm. No, people are not. They're not always successful. But I think if you're going to be successful, or you know what? Let's say you're not hardworking like Nigel or like people that we know.
Yeah.
If you are what you are intensely, you can be successful. You don't have to be exactly like them. Yeah. But if you're like me, I'm mental, and I think people kind of like that. I hope they like that. I
think for comedy, like for comedians to be funny, they got to have some sort of craziness. Because you see so many comedians. Well, my mate's in this group. Like, he went viral and he got added to this group. Like, it's all these like kind of successful social media comedians who, like, he basically calls them spreadsheet comedians, and they just like work out ways to do the algorithm and work. It's all the spreadsheet stuff, like you're sort of saying with Nigel, but at least he's doing it with jokes. These guys are just purely doing it with social media and how to go viral, and they're not funny guys. Like Steve Hofstadter, he's not a funny guy. Like, he won't see this. I'm sure he's got better things to do.
I bet he will see this. That's the kind of man who Googles his own name. He's gonna fucking see this. Hi, Steve. Actually, can you help us with the cameras? Do you know about that? Leo's big camera.
Who is he?
Oh man, yeah, I had that beef with him. I didn't know who he was.
Well, let me just clarify for everyone. So Steve Hofstadter is a comedian who's gone big who was kind of got big before everyone started going viral, because he would always have these like heckles conveniently that he'd be recording. So he was always getting heckled over something.
It's always like comedian destroys heckler, and the video's like 22 minutes long, and it's like, how can you not fucking destroy this fucking heckler? Just get on with the show, you know what I mean?
But then they were a gig,
And also, it's always just like, it's not him destroying a heckler, it's him being a fucking total school teacher with a heckler, you know what I mean? Like, you know, when they go school teacher mode and just suck all the joy out of the thing. Anyway, but yeah, so I didn't know who he was. I turned up to do this like shit show
Edinburgh Festival,
an Edinburgh Fringe, and it's like it's called like headshots or something, and you stick your head through a hole in this, so all the audience can see is like your head.
It's totally demeaning.
I get there, and Iman Hadichi, you know, the tiny wee guy, he's like from Australia. Yeah, from Australia, tiny wee. He looks like a tiny shrunken down version of Darius.
No, he doesn't. He looks like a tiny shrunken down version of Darren Walsh.
Darren Walsh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I know
so
what you mean,
he's like that high. But I get there and he's like, man, this is grim. There's no atmosphere in the room. They had a full room, but it was just hot and sweaty and just totally listless. So I get up there and I'm like trying to do my best, like trying to get some energy into the room, you know, trying to get the party started. And then this guy starts setting up his fucking camera on a tripod in the corner of the room. Of course, everybody turns around and looks at him. Because it's like that. So I just start ripping this guy, you know. What's that camera? And like, how much your camera cost? And he's like $600. I'm like, mine cost $1,000, you pussy, and all this stuff. Like, just making fun of him, like to get some. And everybody starts laughing because it's fun, you know what I mean? Anyway, I come off stage. You know, thinking it's another comedian, so he's gonna like think it's all right or whatever. And he's like, kind of standoffish with me, and then like he's kind of a dick. And then he goes on stage. So I go and get my tripod, which is much bigger, and my camera, which is much bigger and snazzier looking, and I go and set it up right where he was setting up his camera.
He wasn't even filming your shit then.
No, so he was setting up to film himself.
Yeah, but you were just doing it just to
I was just doing it to fuck with them. You know what I mean? I just went up to like set my cat. So everybody turns around and laughs because I've just Nico's lost interest in this fucking story.
no, my
Get off your phone.
I'm just doing it to like, obviously, because he did it during my set. So everybody gets the joke that he did it during my set. So like everybody's laughing at that. And then like I go backstage. He comes up. Oh, you know what? He doesn't even fucking finish his set. He's like, oh, you gonna do that, man? You gonna do that? You know what? I can't be fucked with this bush league bullshit. And he comes up and like, I go backstage and I'm like, what are you freaking out for? And like,
what, you went and set up your camera?
Yeah. You fucking listened instead of looking at your phone. You did like, yeah. So I set up my camera.
Were you
just
being
like,
me?
That's what he said. And man, he was like square. He was like, you know, being a.
Is he big?
Nah. Well, I mean, you know, I guess he's kind of a bit tall or whatever. But anyway, so he's saying to me like, you know, oh, you totally emasculated me, man. And I'm like, what the fuck do you give a shit about? You know, who gives a fuck? And then, man, he keeps going. I'm like, you know, I'm a nice, calm, relaxing guy. I like try to pour oil in the troubled water. And he's like not. Like he's still being at. So I was like, oh fuck you there. And like then the fucking people there were like, oh what?
Do that, comedians. And the problem is now everybody's a comedian. It used to be no one was a comedian.
It's international as well as group because our friend who's in it is Irish.
Is he? She?
Yeah.
And then women are doing it. How many women should there be in comedy? There should be like 3. There should be Joan Rivers. The fat
Just
one. Jodie Fields. What was her name? Wasn't there somebody in America?
Oh, who's the fat one? Josie Long.
No, not
She'd
Josie
be called
Long.
She'd be called Wide.
No, not Josie Long. She's a lovely girl.
Amy Schumer.
Was Josie Long nice to you at some point?
No, she wasn't.
Why are you saying
she was nice? No, she was nice to me at one point, and you know, you don't know who doesn't.
Josie Long is the epitome of one of these neo-communists who's like, oh, nicey nice. Oh, we care so much, but also you have to go in this gulag, and we're gonna
canceling.
Oh, we're talking about that. Trigonometry just did an interview with Deborah Francis White, and apparently it was she came across awful in it.
Did you watch it?
Well, obviously not.
Well, because I heard different things. I also heard that like
or maybe
a
cake.
Trap.
Yeah, well, tell us what happened because I didn't watch it.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, well, that's not stopped us discussing stuff about that we don't know nothing about.
Francis said
before.
he went on Kill Tony. I'm bombed. Did you guys watch it?
I saw a bit of it. It's pretty bad. It was bad.
He didn't like
did.
bomb.
It was on Netflix. He did.
Yeah, but you're never gonna have a standout killer gig. Oh man, you didn't bomb as bad as I saw you bomb.
Yeah, well, listen, but I'm not bombed on Netflix. I've kept my bombs to regional gigs, man.
You're an unsuccessful.
Yeah,
bomber.
listen, one thing I 9 out of 10 times out of 10 pride myself on, when it's a proper big gig, I'll usually rise to the occasion. I wouldn't flop on Netflix. Like every gig that I needed to do well on, I'll do well on it. But then I'll flop later.
Have you had one of those yet?
Nah. Well, all that, like, you know, I've done whenever I needed to win or do something, I've done well on them. But I wouldn't like Netflix. He didn't connect.
What about British Comedian of the Year when you didn't do plug?
I went rogue. But that's why. But I think that's a comedian's thing. Sometimes you like. This is the difference. Sometimes I do things. I think this is gonna be funny. Yeah. Yeah. And it would be in my best interest to just do the safe and stuff sound, right? Yeah. But if you just do safe every time, then where's the experiment? Like, I can get into comedy to be safe and stuff.
Exactly.
That's a real comedian. If like I could go there and I could do this, and this, and say that and that. But then otherwise I just get a day job.
But you won't be successful.
You won't be successful. But also that is my professionalism that I need to learn that.
Well, because comedy should be for those people.
Sorry.
Comedy should be for those people who can't do a day job and are funny instead of the spreadsheet people who can do a day job. Because they're doing comedy like it's a day job.
But the fact you call it comedy like it's a thing, it's not a thing. It's
stand-up comedy.
It's not a thing.
It's obviously a thing. You go to stand-up comedy club, you do it on a stage. It's called stand-up comedy.
But how long have there been stand-up comedy clubs? Not that long. I remember when I started
50s?
Comedy. I was 1993. There were like only a couple of comedy clubs back in the day.
Man, and still didn't make it to the top. That is a savage.
And there was nobody around. It was like they were looking for people. And I looked like somebody who should be funny. That's one of the other reasons I'm not successful. So, and then maybe one day they won't have comedy clubs anymore. Yeah. The only reason they have comedy clubs is because it's so cheap to put on the show. Stand
up is mad when you think about it.
It's mad. You don't have to have a band. You don't have to have a play or actors or a director. It's just one guy.
Microphone, isn't it?
A microphone, and that's enough used to be enough for people.
Well, it has changed now because everyone's going to TikTok and they're doing like sketches and stuff. But it's a totally different skill set. Like then when you see those guys, so our friend who's in that group,
who's our friend?
We're not saying. It's a woman.
Yeah, we're not saying the name, obviously, because we're not at liberty to say the name. But sign up to the Patreon and we'll tell you it is.
We won't.
Why is it so hush hush?
I don't know. Leo just didn't say it. So
because he's bad-mouthing Stephen Hofstetter.
We're told.
Oh, yeah, because we bad-mouthed it and we don't want him to Stephen Hofstetter to know. Yeah, so that's why. That makes sense.
Okay.
Anyway, but the point is, he actually can do stand-up. So when the person who's in that group, so when he does a show.
It's a girl.
Yeah, it is a girl.
So what do you call it a he?
Yeah.
Because I'm gender fluid, baby. I don't even see gender. Yeah. They're very good comedian.
I don't see gender. I don't even know what a penis is.
What is a penis? I've never seen one. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is this woman in that group.
It's like a penis, only smaller.
Very good at comedy. So not only can she do a fantastically...
I'd love to see Darius being cross-examined for a crime.
Oh, I got my money back from DCB Legal. I'll tell you who's got. I'll tell you what. Fucking Thames Water just did. Wait, listen to this before because of times of it. Thames Water sent me thing. We're going to increase your bill. They've increased my bill by a modest. Guess how much in a percentage? How much they've increased my bill by?
27%.
27%. Guess how much Thames Water have increased my bill?
30%.
Guess how much?
74%.
645%.
I win, so I win.
My bill's it's gone from £11 a month, that direct debit is a small flat,
to
£82 a month. So I called them and the guy, like, he's not speaking to some fucking English.
What are you drinking?
Nothing. It's metered. He goes, what's happened is you were paying this over, you were paying over 25 payments or something. So now we've just made them into 6 payments. It's easier for you. I was like, it's £82 a month. Yeah, it's fine. Easy for you.
But how's he saying it's like the same amount if it's like 82? Is it 82 a year?
Because they charge... No, that's £82 a month.
So your bill hasn't gone up. He just lumped them together.
Every month. It has gone up. It's gone up by... Yeah, it has gone up. It's gone up by like...
But
in real terms, it's in... So his explanation was, right, one, that £11 I was underpaying, and that was their fault. They brought it down because I wasn't using a certain amount of water. Right. So I've got a little bit of a debt. But then they've said, we're going to guess how much your bill is for the next year, even though it's metered, and it's come out at £82 a month. I don't even understand how it works.
But you said it was 25 months that you were paying £11 a month.
Yeah.
Right. So £11 a month times 22 is £275.
Exactly, and £82
divided by 6 is £40.
Exactly.
A month.
So it's double so it's gone up double anyway
Double.
in real terms,
Double.
but also it's gone up to £82.
I'd keep your idea because the water company is owned by the Jews too.
Listen, the water company needs to be nationalized ASAP. We need a Luigi Mangione on this case, man. That's what I'm saying.
No, we don't. We're against
do.
that totally.
No, I'm not.
Well, you know what's happening. So Thames, is it Thames Water?
Yeah, Thames, those sons of
just
bitches.
change supplier. Just move to a different county. But like, so Thames Water are in a huge amount of debt, so they're obviously just whacking everybody's bills up.
Everyone's bills have gone up by a minimum. They just sent a letter out and they said, we're just going to increase everyone's bills minimum £15 a month.
Man, I wish I'd bought shares in Thames Water.
Right. No, they're going out of business.
How can they just? But how can they just? This is why I can't. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This country, if you want to take it all back to the thingy, how this country just gradually going downhill bit by bit by bit.
We're gonna move to Dubai.
Man, everyone's getting fleeing in this country.
Move to Dubai.
Yeah.
For real.
Let's start a comedy club out there.
Well,
There's already some comedy clubs
There's
out
no
there.
comedy club out there.
There is.
There is. Yeah, you gigged for it.
What?
Gales.
That's not a comedy club.
Oh, yeah.
But there's also they're also the locals in Dubai now. Shout out Noha. They're doing quite well in Dubai. They're like building their own scene.
Yeah.
So they've got, I can't remember what it's called, but they're doing well.
And there's going to be opportunities in the region as well, because Saudi Arabia is starting to liberalise. They sold the liquor license in Saudi Arabia, so they're going to start doing nighttime entertainment.
Yeah, I'm gonna start club in Saudi
But
Arabia.
you got to be careful what you say over there, because if somebody gets... Look what happened to Rizal in Kuala Lumpur. So he, at a comedy club in Kuala Lumpur, somebody went up and open mic night. And his club was running, 7 nights a week. So there's always like people going up saying, whatever. An open mic, you get people saying crazy stuff. Some girl went up and said something that like the Islamic culture.
No, she was wearing a hijab,
And
and then she took it off and she was like dressed scantily or something underneath.
She just had Western clothes on. She wasn't particular over. She'd be dressed conservative. But yeah, so everybody kicked off. The club got attacked. They had to shut down. Like, he's banned from running businesses and stuff. Got to be careful in.
But this country is going down just gradually, bit by bit by bit.
Oh
and
man,
the fact,
not even slowly.
Well, but even that, like, that's just an example. Water's £15 a month, and people are just going to have to eat that. And it's just...
Drink it.
Well, yeah, drink it. They're just going to take that charge on it just a little bit. We're not getting any better service.
Yeah.
The trains are shit. The water's shit. The weather's shit.
Well, the weather's nice this week.
What
But in
else is
general.
shit? The food is shit.
Yeah.
The food's better than it used to be. When I moved to this country, the food was horrific.
Yeah.
I don't know. How long have you lived here for? How many years?
12.
12 years.
12, 14.
I've been here 25 years, and you couldn't get something to eat in this city at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Somebody told me they got like spaghetti in a restaurant in London, and it was like canned spaghetti. You know when you get it canned with the meatballs and everything, like the spaghetti already cooked in the can. It's mad. I mind in the 90s going up in Scotland and I ordered a burger and a bun at some place, and the guy brought it out, and it was like literally a burger in a bun. There was no like butter on the bun. There was no lettuce. There was no like ketchup.
Onions, no tomato.
Nothing. Just a burger and
Or
a
if you
bun.
wanted a sandwich, I remember it just being like a ham sandwich. It was like one piece of ham. Like ham was like as thin as the butter.
Yeah.
There was no meat on the thing. It was like 2 pieces of bread, and it'd been sitting down since the morning when they made it.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty bad. It was English people, but so that's gotten a bit better.
Yeah.
But this country's just like death by a million cuts. Just everything they can to make it a bit shitter they're doing. Can't drive your car anywhere. You can't get a train anywhere. You can't really you can't afford to do.
The government's spending money on all the wrong things. So it's borrowing completely unsustainably. Like borrowing is like 6% above, 6% is way above. Like it's totally unsustainable. Like you go bankrupt if you're a person. So they're borrowing so much money, and they're taxes so high that the people who pay tax are leaving and going to Dubai and stuff, and they're spending money on the dumbest shit. So Kneecap, this like rap group who like slag off Britain, like
Irish rap group,
Irish
they slag off Britain.
Catholic rap group.
They got £2 million from the British government.
2 million.
£2 million
Okay, I
It's
didn't
like
know this.
what do you, like,
How did they get £2 million? I'm
do
gonna have
what?
to fact check this.
arts fucking funding, arts whatever it is, film to make a film.
Did they make the film?
They made the film. It
Was
won
it
a
good?
won a BAFTA award, so somebody liked it. But like £2 million, how are we fucking paying people who hate us to make films about how much they hate us?
And it's only £2 million. In America, you get $2 billion. They were giving out billions of dollars to people.
It's less in America. I think it's capped at like, is it 15 million per film or something? But
No,
in the
no,
UK,
no, we need to
so the
buy
new
some new
Jurassic Park film, £89 million to UK taxpayer subsidised it by. And it's like, man, why don't we
And Disney
yeah.
and Snow White and all that.
Anything that gets made here, like if you're in the right, the government can't stop spunking money up the wall. All we need to do, and the government is terrible at spending money, distributing money. What we need to do is like total doge the government, cut it right back. All it needs to do is like the army and roads and maybe something else, and that's it.
That's what I believe. But I mean, you got these huge factories that make the films, in Pinewood or Neavesden. I've been to every single one of them, and they're huge, and they have, you have to keep things going on the inside. That's where the money's coming from.
Yeah, but
we're going
like,
to.
How come, like, if a business isn't sustainable without giving it £89 million of taxpayers' money,
Maybe it doesn't belong in the country.
Maybe we don't need another Jurassic Park film. The dinosaurs aren't going to be as cool. What are they going to have? What are the dinosaurs? Are they going to fire fucking bees out their mouths at you? Like, we've already had the dinosaurs on the island. We've had the dinosaurs in Los Angeles. We've had the big dinosaurs, the flying dinosaurs, the swimming. We've done all the fucking dinosaurs.
But we can make the same argument for banks that get bailed out and companies that get bailed out.
Yes.
So get rid of them.
Yeah. 100%. Let them go bust.
Well, they should let Thames Water go bust, you sons of bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need water.
But then the government, I think...
catch rainwater.
Well, no, but I'm saying this. I think there's certain things that should be nationalised. I don't give a shit. Like Amazon, fine, private, do what you want. But certain things that are commodities that the country needs to run, gas, power, electricity, should be... Steel, well, exactly, but that should be why is our steel being given to Chinese steel? So now if for example now we can't even build weapons because we don't have the right steel because the Chinese said, we're not building that steel.
Oh yeah, and we've got to say, if there's a war with China, we've got to say to China, can we have some steel to build some tanks?
Yeah,
and they're gonna be like, no, fuck yourselves.
But yeah, so I think transport, water, gas, all the basic utilities that should be not for profit. That shouldn't be for profit because it's like people need that to go.
It should be for profit. It should be for profit.
But it should be to let people
profit. Without profit, where's the guide telling you what works and what doesn't?
The guy telling 645 fucking % my water bill's gone up.
It hasn't gone up. It's gone up only 50%.
Shut up, Lewis.
Yeah, it's gone up 50%. The point is, he's right, but we believe in a globalist world, which I am totally against. But the globalist world, we can't make everything.
We gotta go back to tribes, man.
Yeah, maybe we should
get rid of all technology.
We're going back to tribes. Well, what do you think we're doing with this mass immigration, like with Muslims into the country? That's a different tribe.
Well, it's interesting.
That's you. You should say you're sorry for it.
We're already.
He's not confirmed yet.
He's got a nice smile. He's good looking, so he thinks he doesn't have to say he's sorry, but he needs to say he's sorry.
We're already seeing the rise of sectarian, like tribal voting in the UK. So at the last election, there's like 5 Muslim.
But this whole system don't make no sense.
Oh, if you want to talk about it,
democracy.
You need to talk about the Canadian voting if you want to talk about
tribal voting.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, they just had their Canadians are real angry. You not seen what's been going on?
What's it got to do with like?
Well, basically all the candidates are for each different party. One of the memes is like, you could have an Indian guy with a beard. You could have an Indian guy with a turban. You could have an Indian guy, but there was no like white candidates. They're going fuck. Just saying what I've seen.
In certain places in the country of Canada.
Well, but apparently Trudeau's party's won, and the guy who's the new prime minister,
Mark Carney.
He's the ex Bank of England chief. He's just come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
he's a total globalist. He's a total girl.
I mean but that is an interesting thing. How Trudeau was polling horribly, gonna lose. Yeah. Suddenly, all these parties that were polling gonna lose, AFD rubbish, suddenly AFD now they're extremists. Romania can't. That's null and void. Yeah. Macron gone. Suddenly, Mark Carney out of nowhere. Oh, he's won. Like strange.
Marine Le Pen.
Yeah, Marine Le Pen. I think we've done quite enough.
Yeah. You know what lost it for Pierre Poilievre and the right wing in Canada.
No.
Is Trump got into power And he started attacking Canada, being all like,
That's
we're
not
take you over.
true.
No, it's true.
That is
he
not
started saying,
true.
we're going to take you over. And then all this sort of patriotic sentiment rallied behind Mark Carney, rallied behind the Liberals, which is so fucked up because patriotism is the right-wing thing. And it's like, it got
So why did it rally against...
Because
the other
Trump's
guy
on the right, so then the left in Canada were like, no, we're not going to fucking blah, blah, blah. And Poilievre is like kind of, ideologically more aligned with Trump, so he couldn't be like, he still tried. He was like, nah, fuck you, Trump. But everybody can see that he's like more aligned with Trump. And it's so dumb because
he shouldn't have gone, fuck you, Trump. He should have said to Canada that we're going to fight for Canadians. Whether we have to fight for Canadians.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't. He said fuck Trump.
Yeah, but he had to say that because Trump's all like, we're gonna come in, we're gonna take you over, which is a dumb thing to say because he's obviously not gonna go in.
Well, it just shows what a nothing country Canada is if they're so afraid of Donald Trump. And Canada is a nothing country. It's got 40 million people next to 360 million Americans. They should know that they've taken their independence for granted way too long. That America has not been interested in them. They should not be an independent country. They should be part of America.
Yeah, but Trump's.
Well, I wish they take over the UK.
Yeah, that's something.
Why don't you take over the UK?
Because it's a bit too far away. In the UK, people are fucking ugly.
We've got those islands in like Honolulu and stuff. Just take over the UK.
Yeah.
Speak the same language, unlike Canada.
The problem
Then
is
we'd all move to LA.
When we took those islands,
You
had
can
nice
move to
weather.
Grimsby.
Talking about Hawaii, it has nice weather in Hawaii. There weren't that many people there, so you could take it over.
Are we closer to America than Hawaii?
Yeah.
No way. Are we?
Probably a similar distance. It might be 3,000 miles.
Right.
Might be a little bit less. That's a good question. We're going to Google that. I never thought about that.
We're closer.
Cool.
Do you know what's funny?
I got a pick
Wait,
of the kids.
one last fact before everyone goes. London is closer to New York than New York is to Chicago. That's how mad it is.
That is not true.
That is true.
That is not true.
Why would I lie?
You're not going to lie, but you're an idiot. It's a different kinds of lie.
I got a bus from Chicago to New York once.
And how many days did it take?
Man,
a day
it took
and a
a
half.
long time. It was like 24 hours, I think.
24 hours of driving. So just
like
do
that.
the math. 24 times 60 miles an hour is...
Or 16 hours. It was like a long time.
Okay, let's say it was 16 hours. Times 60 is about...
Lewis, you're not helping the stereotypes doing the numbers. Right, we've got to call it a day. Thank you for listening. Next week, we're going to have everything. We're going to have all the cameras working.
Yeah,
we're going to
thank you
have
for
Ollie on the
having me.
podcast to have a fight with Leo. It's going to be great. Real beef. He's
And
beefing.
Nico was so nice to me. Nico was so nice on the show. I thought he was going to hate me and something.
Anything
I don't know why you say that.
Anything to
He
promote.
was scowling at me the last
Haters
time.
Ball tickets are now available to be purchased in Edinburgh. Some people have already bought on. Yeah, from the edfringe.com. Buy tickets to the Haters Ball. Some people have already bought tickets. Thank you so much for the whole of Edinburgh.
And I'm performing May 25th at the new top secret venue. Darius and Leo are going to be there as well, so come through.
Oh, very good. And I'm going to be in Blackpool unless the gig gets cancelled because we've only sold 14 tickets. In Blackpool at the Joe Thorne something. I don't know what it's called. Theater in Blackpool. It's a theater in Blackpool.
We should do a show together.
Well, you say it. I'm waiting for you to do it. I have got no energy to do it.
All right, say bye, everyone.
I'll show up, though. Bye.
Bye.